Guten Tag, and welcome to the fourth round of the GP4 OC 2021 season. We're here with the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim, not the better Hockenheim, the other Hockenheim as I call it. Previous 5 winners here, coming to Robert Niska winning in 2014, Gal 2016, Volker 2018, Gal winning again in 2019, and George Roque winning last season in 2020. Stats for the circuit length of 4.574 kilometers, 17 corners, 67 laps, and the lap record set by Franco Lopez in 2019, a 1:11.104. Now, of course, the last race was won by Franco Gamba at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Baku, winning again pretty comfortably. So Red Bull so far have been the ones you could say on top. They've won 2 of the first 3 races. The tyres that we'll be using are the hard tyres. But as I was saying, as you see the practice top 10 on your screen right now, it's so far been Red Bull that have edged it during the races. Gamba winning the first round and the third round of the season respectively. But the big question is, can he make it 3 wins out of 4 races, or can we have another different winner in the OC this season? We will find out soon enough. As I said, it was Lopez who was top of practice. However, that was practice, and this was the result of qualifying for the German Grand Prix, and it was Franco Gamba on pole position, Evan Byrne alongside him on the front row. Row 2 is George Roque for Red Bull and Jesus Perrin for Renault. Row 3 we have Jake Galloway for Ferrari and Franco Lopez for Mercedes. Row 4 we have Romain Quag for Alfa Romeo and Rahul Patel for Lamborghini. Row 5, Chris Chatfield for Ferrari and Kirosima De Rosa for McLaren. On row 6, a good qualifying by Julius Anderson in the Aston Martin ahead of Laura Chung in the Lamborghini. Row 7 we have Amar Khan, very disappointing qualifying for him in the Mercedes in 13th, and Joseph Willows 14th for McLaren. Haas on the 8th row of the grid, Amelia Wilson 15th and Daniel Fraser 16th. Row 9 we have Jamie Griffiths for Williams and David Kupok for AlphaTauri. Row 10 we have Andrea Fideri for Alfa Romeo and Miklos Gal for AlphaTauri. And the last row of the grid we have Felix Hunter for Williams and Rilla Moichin for Aston Martin. Unfortunately, qualifying so far this season has pretty much always been at the back. It's not been his season so far qualifying wise. But that was the grid, and the weather for this race, it will be a dry race, 0% chance of rain. So the big question is, can Franco Gamba get his 3rd win of the season, or could it maybe even Evan Byrne take his first win of the season? It's been a long time since he won a race, and of course he was very close to winning in China, just losing out to Amar Khan. So the big question is, could he maybe win, or will Gamba make it 3 out of 4? Could we have Jesus Perrin maybe winning it? So let's find out as we will now go to the grid. Okay, so here we go. The race is about to begin. We have Red Bull in first, Renault in second. The 5 lights are now coming on for the German Grand Prix, and we are underway. And as we head towards the first corner, is Gamba going to get the jump? It looks like he has. He's made a pretty good start, and he's going to lead into the first corner. Meanwhile, Roque, I think, trying to go around the outside of the other Renault, which I believe he has, around the outside of Evan Byrne. Can he hold it coming in towards turn 2? There's a Ferrari behind, trying to squeeze his way through of Jake Galloway, but Byrne just about keeps ahead. But Roque does keep second position around the outside there, so not the start that Byrne would have wanted. Well, Roque got a poor exit out of the corner, and Byrne is right behind. So is Galloway, so is Perrin as they head up down the back straight, and there's going to be a lot of overtaking. This is one of the main overtakes off the track. And meanwhile, Perrin is trying to make it 3 wide, but failing. He's on the inside of Galloway, though, so he might make up another position. He could maybe even try and launch down the inside of Byrne, but he doesn't. But Byrne does get second place back immediately. Perrin does also get past Galloway behind. And so far, actually, a pretty clean start as they come through the first few corners, but Byrne manages to get the place back from Roque. Perrin, meanwhile, has got light fuel, a mixture of fuels around, quite a few lights, but a lot of heavy ones. Willows, I think, is pretty heavy. They come through, and it looks like everyone's actually avoided contact so far. Very clean start for the first lap, which is very unusual. Meanwhile, Roque defending hard from Perrin in 3rd position with Galloway just behind. Then they got the Mercedes of Franco Lopez behind as well. But I think Roque's one of the ones that's got heavy fuel, and he has. Look at the amount of fuel he's got in his car, so it looks like Roque is going to be doing the one-stop in this race, which, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad strategy, but it's going to be a tough one, particularly if you're going to get overtaken a lot in the first half of the race, as he might do now, as Perrin on the inside coming towards the first corner. Does he make the stick? And the answer is, I don't think so. I think Roque's just got the momentum around the outside. Meanwhile, Lopez trying to get past Galloway, and who's did attempt to get past Perrin. Meanwhile, the Lamborghini behind there, I think that was a Patel making a move down the inside, and he did make it through past the other Ferrari of Chatfield. Meanwhile, Perrin now going past Roque, coming down the back straight, and Roque, you can see, look how far he's already dropped off Byrne and Gamba. Now he's going to drop behind Perrin, looks like, they're coming up towards the hairpin, and Perrin on the inside, and he makes it up into P3, and Roque might even lose more place. He got a bad exit off the corner there, but Lopez, I don't think, has quite got the run on the Red Bull, so he has to stick behind unless he makes a move coming into the Mercedes-Benz Arena part of the circuit. Into the stadium section he goes, but he doesn't make it stick there. But parrying up into third, of course, he's on light fuel. He's on what looks to be the three-stoppers. Lopez now having a look on the inside of Roque, who's dropping like a stone at the moment. Lopez on the inside, can he make it stick? And the answer is yes. So already Roque dropping down to P5 after just 2 laps. So it looks like it's going to be a long stint for him, as he's got no pace. And Lopez made the move on the inside. I thought he was going to do it, but Roque backed off, and Lopez managed to make his way through. Byrne, meanwhile, coming through, heading up towards the line. Gammas the fastest lap, but then Byrne sets the fastest lap as he heads towards through the very fast turn 1. Meanwhile, Roque now being overtaken by, looks like De Rossa in the McLaren as they head towards the first corner. De Rossa was on the inside. Did he make it stick? No is the answer. 6 behind. Meanwhile, Chatfield trying to make a move on the inside of De Rossa. Patel is there as well. So is Carr, who's making his way back up the order. Moved up 4 places, sorry. Meanwhile, Quagg has lost 3. He's not made a good start. Oh, there's damage. And Chatfield has made damage with the back of, that was Laura Chung. And you can see here, so Chatfield was trying to make a move on the inside of Chung. So the Ferrari that was a little bit behind was actually Galloway. I don't know if I said that or not. But this was the reason why. You can see Chatfield and Chung got a little bit too close for comfort there. And that incident has been concluded to be a racing incident. Not really a surprise there, but both Chung and Chatfield will have to go into the pits to change their rear and front wings respectively. And oh, meanwhile, Moisha has been hit into by the AlphaTauri, and he went into the Alfa Romeo, who I don't think has actually got any damage here. That was Q-Pop going into the back of Roland Moisha. This is right at the back of the field. And as we're looking on board with David Q-Pop coming into the stage section, just almost didn't seem like he had no idea where the braking was, and just used Moisha as the brake, and he receives a 10-second time penalty for causing that incident. Not really a surprise. Meanwhile, this is Patel going past the Ferrari of Jake Galloway. That is for P7, and Galloway now under pressure from Carr behind, and also Quagg in the Alfa Romeo. I mean, both the Ferrari and Alfa Romeo look so similar from the outside. But nonetheless, Carr is on the inside of Galloway, heading up towards the hairpin. Quagg just behind, and he's on the inside. Carr, is he going to make the move stick? And the answer is, I don't know if he is. I'm not sure. Oh, meanwhile, for one Aston Martin, it's not good, and for the other one, it's not much better. Julius Anderson is out of the race, and that looks like it's coming out of turn 2. And this is the reason why. They're in a battle with Amelia Wilson. Wilson on the inside, and you could just see that was going to happen from a mile off. And Amelia Wilson's going to have to pit for a new front wing, and the incident between those two concluded to be a racing incident. And oh, George Rogue got a suspension problem. I just saw on the timing board there, and Rogue has got a suspension problem, and I think that is terminal. He's going very slowly, and he's putting off to the side of the circuit, so we'll never know if George Rogue was going to be able to do anything on the one stop. It doesn't matter now. You can see which suspension it is. It's the front left that's a little bit higher than the rest of the car. So Rogue is out, so that is not good for, for him anyway. For the other Red Bull Gambler, still leading at this moment in time. But yeah, George Rogue out of this race, and so far, it's not been a bad start of the season per se, but Gamber's definitely had the edge. And it was unfortunate because Rogue was actually just on a personal best, and because he was under pressure from a lot of the cars behind, but I think he finally found his groove. But just as he had, the car, or I should say the suspension, brakes on him, so we will see no more of Rogue for the rest of this race. He is out, he is done, so there we are. And so his car is out, as you can see him pulling off to the side of the circuit, hitting the wall in frustration. Meanwhile, this is Felix Sontag battling with Daniel Fraser in the Haas. Sontag on the inside, coming into turn 2, and oh, there's a collision again. He takes out Fraser, but I think Fraser also takes him out as well, so they have both taken each other out at turn 2 there. There's the first collision, and yep, there's the second one, so both Fraser and Sontag out at turn 2, another victim of that. Meanwhile, Chris Chatfield just coming through, and he hits debris, and oh, poor Chris Chatfield. He really has got no luck in this race. Meanwhile, Rahul Patel actually just the fastest lap of the race, a 1:11.7. That is insanely quick there. He's on light fuel, so it probably explains why he's so quick. He tried to pass the McLaren of De Rossa into turn 1, but to no avail. There's Jamie Griffiths in 11th. There's Videri at the moment in 12th, who goes wide at the first corner. Manages to just about keep it on the road. And Gao now on the inside, and he's going to go past the Alfa Romeo, although he may have passed him at the yellow flags there, because there were clear yellow flags. So I think Gao may get in trouble for that, and yes, he does. 5-second time penalty for overtaking Videri under wave yellows. He should have waited, and now Videri might actually get his revenge as well, which would be a double whammy for Gao. As we're looking at the Alfa Romeo on the inside of Gao coming into the hairpin, does he make it stick? Videri, the answer is no, I don't think so. I think Gao's got the run off the corner, and he does keep the position, or well, I say keep the position on track, but of course he'd be behind him due to that 5-second time penalty. Meanwhile, up front, Burns slowly but surely edging closer towards Gamba as we're looking at Roland Motion in the Aston Martin, who spins at the first corner, manages to actually do a good bit of car control there and keep himself going, not losing a huge amount of time, still losing a bit of time, not significant though. You can see coming into the first corner, missed the apex by about 2 years, and so he spins, but managed to control it well and get going pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Patel still can't get past De Rossa, and that might allow Galloway to make a move on the inside past Patel as he went very slow off the corner. And Galloway says thank you very much and takes place away. And so, yeah, Galloway back up into 6th position. They can't get past De Rossa at the moment, it seems. Meanwhile, this is the battle up front between Gamma and Byrne. Byrne's been slowly but surely edging towards Gamma as the race has gone on. Meanwhile, Patel now repasses Galloway for P5. And yeah, so meanwhile, Perrin in for his first stop of the race. He looks to be on the 3 stop. So he comes out in 11th place. He does come out in clear air, which is important for him. De Rossa, meanwhile, is also in and looks to be on the 3 stop as well. Similar fuel to Perrin. And meanwhile, Jake Galloway actually has now set the fastest lap of this race. That was a 1:11.5. But again, Byrne has been behind Gamba at this distance for a few laps now, but just seems to get quite close enough. I'm not sure fuel-wise. I think they've got similar fuel. Gamba's got slightly less, actually, than Byrne at this moment in time. So Byrne definitely seems to be the quicker car. Well, I mean, that's stating the obvious there. But nonetheless, Gamba's still leading at the moment, holding his own. Byrne not bothering to make a move at the moment. He's sort of biding his time, wanting to do it maybe in the pit stops. But meanwhile, we'll look at Galloway, who now does come in for his first stop of the race. I'm not sure if this will be a 2 or a 3. Okay, no again, he put similar fuel to what some of the other drivers did that were on 3-stop strategies. So we'll see what happens for Galloway. So where did he come out of the pits, actually? He comes out in, it looks like, P9. Does he come out ahead of De Rossa? And the answer is... yes, he does, actually, by quite a way. Look at that. There's De Rossa, and there's actually Patel. Patel, who was stuck behind De Rossa as well at the start of the race, who's back behind him again. So that's not worked out well for Patel, but for Galloway, that's worked out pretty well, you have to say. So meanwhile, we're looking once again at this battle at the front between Gamma and Byrne, although Gamma has slightly upped the gap to Byrne. It's now just over a second, 1.1 to be exact. It's been less than that for the past few laps, but so far, nothing they can do about it. Meanwhile, this is the Mercedes of Franco Lopez, who is now just going to place. Gamma now comes in for his first stop, and crucially, comes out ahead of the other Mercedes of Caine. Now, meanwhile, Byrne does come into the pits, and we'll see, can Byrne, has he done the overcut, and can he stay ahead, or get ahead, I should say, of Franco Gamba. So into the pits he is, and so let's see, it needs to be a quick stop from the Renault mechanics, and changes all 4 tyres, and yep, that seemed to be a pretty quick stop, 4.9, that's exceptionally quick actually from Renault, that's very good. Gamba's not even come around the final quarter yet, so I think Byrne's going to be comfortably ahead, and he's already at the pit exit, Byrne. And would you look at that, Evan Byrne is comfortably ahead of Franco Gamba. How on earth has he managed to get so far ahead? Look at that, Gamba's only just come around the final corner, the first corner now. So Gamba must have had, yeah, Byrne must have had some insane in-laps, and also, I mean, the quick stop did help, of course, but he must have had some really fast in-laps, Byrne. He must have been saving the tyres all that time, so he is, well, currently second. Lopez is leading at this moment in time, but he's still yet to pit. Quag has just come out of the pits, and another car coming in as well. Meanwhile, Jimmy Griffiths at the moment running in 6th position in the Williams. I don't believe he's pitted yet, but he's doing a good job as we've got a yellow flag, and it's Chris Chatfield, whose nightmare race is finally over. Yeah, I mean, you got to feel for the guy. He was, well, yeah, got unfortunate damage from the collision with Chung, and then got damage from the other incident with Sontag and Fraser. So, yeah, I don't think he was really going to get anything out of this race. He wasn't going to get any points, but he can finally, he's retired from this race, and he can forget that this race ever happened. But he suffered a mechanical failure just coming into the stadium section there, and so he pulled off to the side of the track. And that's his race over. Oh, you can see actually how much air he got. I'm surprised the car didn't actually disintegrate there. The way it jumped over the into the gravel there. That was quite a jump to say the least. Meanwhile, Armar Carr is in the pits, and as we know, Armar Carr is not the luckiest person in Germany. But at the moment, he's had a solid race so far. Kept himself out of trouble. Well, I say solid race. He's had a decent race. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez, who was leading, now comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. I don't think it's going to be a one-stop for him, I don't believe. And the answer is it isn't. I was going to say, if he tried a one-stop from here, that would be pretty ballsy, to say the least. Not a particularly quick stop from Mercedes either, actually. I think that was 6.8 seconds, although, I mean, to be fair, Renault's stop, I mean, that must have been probably one of the fastest stops this season. Just under 5 seconds. Lopez now out of the pits and comes out in third, so Franco Lopez having a much better race now for Mercedes. He's finally taken the sandbags off, and is now looking to get himself back into title contention. Meanwhile, Jesus Perrodin, who was on the 3-stop and was running near the front at the start of the race, has been very anonymous so far. He was, I think, in about, what, 6th place, I think he was, as he came into the pits there, 7th, but, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get anywhere near getting the podium today. The fact he was all the way down there, having to pit again for the 2nd time. Meanwhile, De Rosa is in for, this is his 2nd stop as well. He's one of those that is on a 3. He's going to be going quite long, actually, on this stint, so he's pitting very close to the end, so he's going to be exceptionally quick. Probably going to go for the fastest lap, if he's going to be pitting that late on. Meanwhile, this is Joseph Willows in the McLaren, that's coming through. We've got a yellow flag on the second end. Oh, well, forget about De Rosa. He's out of this race, and there's a Haas of Wilson that is without a front wing. So De Rosa is out of the race, and really, he is definitely one of the unluckiest drivers in the OC. He's got a nickname for a reason, and unfortunately for him, just as he comes out the pits, his car breaks down on him, a transmission failure, and yeah, he retires from this race, pulls off to the side of the circuit on the back straight there, and of course he goes into the wall, and obviously the wheel, you see it going off the track. Videri lucky to avoid it, but Wilson couldn't do anything about it, hits the wheel and loses her front wing, and again her race has been a nightmare as well, and it doesn't get much better. No chance of points for her. Meanwhile, Willows is in the stop. There's actually a number of cars that have come into the pits on the same lap. Galloway is in as well. So Willows pits, Galloway is in, and Griffiths is in as well. So who's going to come out on top here in this pit battle? And the answer is, I think, did Galloway come out ahead there? And he does just come out ahead of Willows, who does himself stay ahead of Griffiths, who has been following him for the whole first stint. So Griffiths doesn't jump him in the stops there, but he manages to stay well, he's just outside of the points. Perronin's only just in the points. He's now 9th. I mean, the fact Willows has actually managed to get ahead on on the 1 stop, although Perronin might pass him pretty quickly here because he's going to be on fresher tyres, because Willows' tyres are very cold, to say the least. Perronin on the inside of Willows, coming up towards the hairpin here. He's on the inside. This should be a pretty comfortable move, and the answer is yes. So Perronin passes Willows for the time being, although Willows will certainly try and get the position back. Meanwhile, behind is Laura Chung, who herself is pitting. She had damage early on from the collision with Chatwood. Had a good recovery, actually, I think. Meanwhile, this is Griffiths, who is once again on the back of Willows. Will he try and now make a move coming in towards turn 2? He's going to try it. Willows pushing him out wide. Griffiths on the inside, but he's just not able to get past Willows there. Not sure if he has a good enough exit off turn 2, then 3 onto the back straight. Meanwhile, Patel coming in for his 2nd stop of the race, and I'm pretty sure, well, actually, is he going to go to the end on this? I mean, he may go to the end. I mean, he could do it if he wanted to, but we'll see, actually, if he decides to go to the end or not, but we'll find out in about 2 seconds, and he is not going to the end, actually. Interesting. So he is going to be on the 3 stop. He'll be making one more stop before the end. The big question is, where does he come out on the circuit? He's in P6 at the moment. Does he stay in P6? And the answer is yes, and actually he is going to be ahead of Jake Galloway, so that's worked out pretty well for Patel, and the fact that he has 1 stop left, and I think so does Galloway. That is a good strategy call from Lamborghini there, and it's worked out well. I mean, Patel has had a good race, and he's been in a battle with Galloway, and he had been in a battle, of course, with De Rosa, but of course De Rosa is now out, so he doesn't have to worry about him, but he does have to worry about Galloway. But at the moment he's ahead, so that is good for him. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is in the pits for another stop, so that means that Franco Gamba is going to lead this race. Meanwhile, Romain Quarg, who himself has had a quiet race, but he's been just languishing inside the points, so he comes to the pits for his second stop, I'm pretty sure, and I think he'll probably go to the end. We shall see. So he pits now, changes all 4 tyres. Does he go to the end? And the answer is yes, he does. He will go to the end on this set. Good strategy call there from Alfa Romeo. 6.8 seconds. Not a particularly quick stop, but again, I'm just using the Renault stop for Byrne for reference, which was insanely quick. Again, Griffiths once again following Willows like he has been almost the entire race. Going to be sick and tired of the sight of that McLaren, albeit a nice car it is. Gamba is now in for his second stop. Lopez is going to be going a little bit longer, so he will temporarily take the lead of this race, which he'll be very happy with. That's where he feels he belongs, up at number 1. So Gamba in, changes all 4 tyres, will go to the end, of course. Lopez will be going probably about 3 laps more, I think, maybe 4. But he said he'll be putting, and we'll see actually, because I mean I don't know what the gap was actually between Lopez and Gamba actually. I'm not entirely sure. Meanwhile, Byrne in P2 at the moment. He's got Kupok and Wilson behind. Wilson seemingly trying to look at unlapping herself, but I think that's going to happen. Meanwhile, Armakar is now into the pits for his final stop of the race, and he comes out drops down to P7, but obviously a number of cars ahead of him are going to be pitting. So he comes out in... Will he come out ahead of Willows actually? The answer is yes, he does. Willows just come across the line, so car will come out ahead of Willows, which is important. He's in clear air as well. Meanwhile, Kupok still battling there. I mean, he's had an okay race. It's the recovery, I guess. And meanwhile, Lopez is now coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lopez does, because he's going to be the quickest out of the top 3. I'm not sure if he's going to be in contention for the win. I think the gap may be asking a little bit too much of him, but this is Lopez we're talking about. So he changed all 4 tyres to the end, of course. Just prepare yourself for the and is that stop quick for Mercedes? And the answer is yeah, relatively quick. It's in the 5-second bracket. So yep, I'd say that is pretty quick. So out of the pits he comes, and we're going to see how far. So he's going to come out, obviously, behind Byrne, and Gamba, I think, is going to come out ahead, is he, or not? And oh, there is Gamba, actually, so Lopez might have actually jumped Gamba here in about of a 2nd place, and he is just ahead. So that stint has worked out very well for Franco Lopez, and he comes out crucially ahead of Franco Gamba, and you can see he's really to the gap to about a 2nd, and I don't think Gamba is going to have an answer to him. I mean, the question is, could Lopez maybe close on Byrne? I mean, it could be deja vu for Byrne if that happens, of course, because Carr narrowly denied him victory in China, and this time Byrne is the one in front, and he has really done a very good job, Byrne. So for him to lose it now would be bitterly disappointing. So as we're looking at Perrin, who comes out, by the way, in 11th place. That is not good. The fact that he was up at the front and he's now down to 11th, and he's only just about going to get into the points. Well, he's just outside at the moment, so he needs to hope for maybe a bit of luck even. Patel comes in for his final stop of the race. He's come in quite late on, so he changes all 4 tyres and he goes out of the pits. And where did he come out actually? He comes out in, is it P5 or P6? So he comes out behind actually Armakar in the Mercedes. Now Jake Galloway is in for a stop. So as we look at Galloway in, and the question is, could he even come out ahead of Patel? Now that would really grind his gears if that happens. So as we look at Galloway coming out of the pits, so there's Carr going by, and so he's going to drop down, I think, to P5, and I think, where's Patel? Is he there? And Galloway actually is going to come out ahead of Patel once again, unless Patel dives down the inside, coming in towards turn 2, and the answer is he doesn't. But he could have gone the straight, because Galloway is on cold tyres, and he is just about the slipstream Patel, so so Patel right in the slipstream of Galloway, coming down the back straight. You can see how much quicker the car is in the slipstream. He's now on the inside of Galloway, Patel, and Patel on the inside, going to pass Galloway. Is he for P5? And the answer is yes, he does. He gets past Galloway for 5th, and now he'll see Patel if he can go after Carr in front of him. But of course, Galloway, once he warms up his tyres, he'll be the one who wanted to go after Carr for P4. Meanwhile, Patel attempting to go into the first corner to pass Carr, but he fails, and he's got a bad run, and Galloway might take advantage of that once again, and deja vu for Patel again, and Galloway does go by for 5th position, and now Galloway has the perfect opportunity to go after Carr. Well, he needs to do it now, because he's only got 1 lap to go after this. But that battle between Patel and Galloway happening again. You can see actually Galloway being closed down rapidly by Patel coming up towards the hairpin. But Galloway clearly the quicker car there in a straight line, but he's not going to be able to do anything about that. We're on the final lap, of course. Evan Byrne is in the lead. Lopez is in 2nd, and he's way too far to mount a challenge on Evan Byrne. But for Evan Byrne, it's been a long time coming, and he is at the moment set to take victory. I'm not going to say anything yet, because of course he's not. He's only just starting the final lap, and we've had things happen on the final lap before of this race. So as Byrne heading up towards the hairpin, he has thoroughly deserved this victory today. Jumped Gamba in the stops, and he's never really looked back. He's had control of this race from the very beginning, and yeah, he's never looked back as we're coming up towards the stadium section. And Byrne, as you can see, going through there right now, running in P1, and he is going to be absolutely delighted to take this victory. It has been a long time coming. He was narrowly denied victory, of course, at China by a Mercedes, and the Mercedes has attempted to try and deny him victory here, but it is not going to happen, as Evan Byrne is coming through the stadium section for the final time, 67th and final time, and he is going to win the German Grand Prix. He's coming around the final corner. He was narrowly denied victory in China by Mercedes. He's not going to be denied today. Evan Byrne is the winner of the German Grand Prix. He is going to be ecstatic with that. Franco Lopez, good result for him as well. Good performance. He is seemingly finally back. He comes across the line in second. Franco Gamma in a distant P3, but he'll still be happy. He'll still keep his lead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, we're looking at Andrea Federi, who's going to come across the line in a very lonely P12. And there's Amelia Wilson in 13th. Again, she's had a pretty nightmarish race, you have to say. Never really looked to be in contention of points, and of course, had that damage from De Rossa when he retired, so of course that's about his misery. And no, Romain Quark is out of the last lap! And Romain Quark on the last lap of this race is out of the race. I don't know if that's and it is a car failure, it's not a collision. He was running in P9, he was going to get some good points for Alfa Romeo, who is actually still ahead of Jesus Perenin, and is coming in towards the stadium section here, and look at the car breaks down on him on the last lap. Would you believe it? That is cruel, cruel luck for Romain Quark. So that means that Perenin will take 9th, and Laura Chung will take P10 in the end. And I think actually, Carl was 4th, Galloway 5th, Patel 6th, and Willers did hold on for 7th ahead of Galloway. Perenin does take 9th, but yeah, he'll be very disappointed with that race. And behind Miklas Gal in 16th is going to be Laura Chung. She will nab the last points on the last lap there. Again, very cruel luck for Romain Quark for that to happen to him. But that is the race over, and here is the full race results. Evan Byrne winning ahead of Franco Lopez in 2nd, Franco Gamba 3rd, Amakar 4th, Jake Galloway 5th, Rahul Patel 6th, Joseph Willers 7th, Jamie Griffiths 8th, Jesus Perenin 9th, and Laura Chung 10th. Romain Quark obviously still being classified 11th and a lap down despite retiring on the last lap. Evan Byrne got the extra point for the fastest lap as well, so he will be very happy with that, getting the win and fastest lap. Andrea Federi 12th, Amelia Wilson 30th, Ronan Moji moving ahead of David Kupok into 14th after Kupok's 10-second time penalty. Miklas Gal last anyway with the 5-second time penalty, with De Rossa, Chatfield, Sontag, Fraser, Roke and Anderson, the drivers who did not finish the race. The drivers standing, and it is a 21-point gap between Carr and Gamba at the top of the standings. Perenin in 3rd, Evan Byrne with that win moves himself into the top 4. Chris Chafford down to 5th, Roke down to 6th. Franco Lopez and Rahul Patel, big moves up into 7th and 8th. Willers down to 9th. Jake Galloway with a hauler point getting himself up into the top 10. Down the rest of the order, there's Chung 12th, Jules Anderson 13th, Roman Clark 14th. Jamie Griffiths getting his first point of the season, moves up into 15th position. De Rossa 16th, Kupok 17th, Wilson 18th. Moji 19th, Federi moving above Sontag and Gal, who are 21st and 22nd respectively. Meanwhile, in the Manufacturers' Championship, Red Bull have a fairly comfortable lead at the moment, although it's still pretty close, ahead of Renault in 2nd, just 4 points clear of Mercedes in 3rd, Ferrari a distant 4th, Lamborghini 5th, McLaren 6th, Haas in 7th, Aston Martin 8th, Alfa Romeo 9th, Williams with Griffiths' points moving ahead of AlphaTauri, who are at the moment last in the constructor standings. But so far, every team has scored a point this season, and Evan Byrne, who else could it be, was given Driver of the Day, of course. So there we go, that was the German Grand Prix, and the next round of course will be the Portuguese Grand Prix at the Portimao circuit, aka Algarve, for the 5th round of the season. Thank you for watching, everybody. Don't forget to give the video a like, check out our links in our description, check out our Twitter, join our Discord, check out our Wikia pages. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you for round 5 in Portimao. Goodbye.